So Taylor, so you started your business. You opened Open Aerial when you were 25 years old. Not many people get to the point where they're willing to say, "Hey, I'm jumping in with both feet into my entrepreneurial journey." What was that like? I can't imagine it was easy to start.
It was incredibly difficult to start, especially a brick and mortar business. Oh my goodness. When it comes down to the paperwork involved on signing a lease, large amounts of money, large amounts of risk, no safety net, that is really scary. But you cannot have the life you want if you don't do that. So I wake up every day grateful I did it. I feel that way with my studio rehab project right now, which is an online business is a different strategy, opening and launching an online business, but it is worth it, and the classic saying of choose your hard. If you don't open the business, life's gonna be hard financially, lifestyle-wise, you're not gonna be where you wanna be, and if you do open the business, it's gonna be even worse at the beginning financially and lifestyle-wise, but you're investing into your future, and I've already seen that with Open Aerial, and that's also why I get excited when someone shares with me, even if someone's like, I've always wanted my own studio. I take that really seriously because I had that happen. So if someone ever tells you that your idea doesn't sound like a good idea or you're getting in over your head, they probably just haven't had their own success yet. But when you tell an idea to someone that's been successful, they replay their journey and know it's possible. And they tell you, oh, yeah, you are going to open your studio. Let's do it. What do you have now? What's the next step? Like, when do you want it open? Are we looking at a year? Are we looking at 6 months? Like, let's do it. That is something that I'm really excited that I have in me when people, even just teachers, say they want a studio or somebody's in the middle of looking for a location and something that is really common for my clients right now is that they don't have a commercial real estate agent. And that's something that I didn't know I needed either. I used to just call the number on the side of the building and not get a call back. And it took getting a really well known commercial real estate agent to get calls back and gets tours with really big properties owned by the biggest property management companies in the world. And you need someone to tell you that, and it's not your fault that you don't know, but there's so many places that you can find this information.
What do you tell the people that say, "Hey, oh my God, I want my own studio. Like, I want to take this stuff." Like, what is your advice to those people?
I say, "Let's do it. Show me what you've got." A lot of people already have, every teacher has a logo and colors in their head, which is really fun to get excited about, but again, it's not what actually builds the business, and it's important to do a lot of research before you make any big decisions, before you spend any large amounts of money. There's a clip by Alex Hormozy that I really like that talks about how he spent a large amount of money on going to a mastermind for gym owners before he opened a gym. And he was the only one that showed up and didn't have a gym. And you would think that was silly, but he was the most strategic person in that room because he was going to learn all the pain points and all the mistakes that these people that already opened have. And he was going to open a gym with less mistakes, not no mistakes, but significantly less. So that's where I think it comes in handy to, even if recently somebody reached out to me and told me that they want a studio one day, they have absolutely no plans yet, but it's a twinkle in their eye. And they asked me where they should start. And I said, these are my favorite accounts of people that do just what I do, consulting. They make content about owning yoga and Pilates studios. Just start following them and just start kind of seeing what themes come up and what there's different thought worlds of membership versus class packages versus only have one product versus have a little bit of everything and have 12 classes a day or have 3 classes a day, have a target market, sell to everybody. Figure out what thought schools you want to subscribe to early on so you know who your target market is before you open. You're going to save so much time and money by not making those mistakes if you just very early just start consuming people's content who have already done what you want to do.
A smart person learns from other. No, it's a smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from other people's mistakes.
Yes, 100%. And the information's out there,
I mean, nowadays a lot of information's out there,
especially with the internet, ChatGPT, for sure.
and you've got all these different people on their entrepreneurial journeys that have failed and have had things not work for them, and then they go and they bounce back and there's something they can succeed at, and you can go and see the different stuff that they have to say about what worked and what didn't work, and then how do you piece it together to kind of put your own story together.
Those stories really inspire me. Alex Hormozy, again, one of my favorites. His first gym was actually in Huntington Beach, and I always love to remind myself that when things get hard. But he has incredible stories of even after he had 6 gyms and all these millions of dollars in top line revenue, he had some horrible things happen to him that were not his fault that wiped him out, and he had to start from scratch and open new things and finance things and go from having money to not having any capital for the business. And when I read that, I'm like, I mean, God, I hope to God I never go through something like that. But it makes me, before something like that, hopefully again never happens to me, but if it were to, I can sit here now and be like, other people have figured it out. Okay. I also have a safety net. I have a great skill that I could get a job tomorrow. I could go back to work tomorrow if I need to, but knowing that a lot of people think starting a business is like you start the business and it skyrockets. There's some really hard things that happen. Like, especially with a brick and mortar business, it feels like every couple weeks we have something crazy. Something that just has to do with like, like the building, or like something's broken and needs to be fixed. And the lease says that, the air con is my responsibility. But I don't own the air con. I'm renting this. Why do I need to replace it? Things like that. So every time you get a win, it's important to be grateful for what you have and make sure that you're giving yourself the credit you deserve. But it's really important to not be too emotional as an entrepreneur, because if I got too excited about my wins, I'm going to get really upset about the lows. And if you get too upset about the lows, you're going to feel like your overall feeling is going to be closer to a low, if that makes sense. So don't want to get too cocky too quick with the highs. You want to find how to always come back and self-regulate. Like, I know the feeling I get in my chest when I get bad news. I find out something broke, I have to replace it. It's expensive. Or someone's schedule needs to change. And instead of letting it bother me, just like getting myself to not feel that feeling before I react and just move forward and fix it and build a system so that next time this happens, I know exactly what to do.
It's interesting because emotionally, the lows have a higher impact on you.
Yes.
It's like we don't really remember or take to heart like our
Yep.
wins. But when something happens and it hits us and we're losing, or we get knocked down, that sits with us. And obviously we try to learn from that. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But those lows really have a very large impact on you emotionally. And you can take a lot of lows
Mhm.
and make up for them with like one win.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like you can take all these different things that have happened to you that just did not work, and one win can wipe it all out. So that's the really interesting thing, is when things aren't going your way, is how many times can you get back up, and what is your next step of action? Because the only thing that really matters is how you move forward and what your next actionable step is when something is not going your way.